Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Better Than Wilhelm series, where we are playing as Germany, and we are trying to be better than Wilhelm ever was during World War One by providing a better World War One scenario for the Germans. So, in our last episode, we were setting the groundworks. Where we are going to be taking some cities this time around. This time, for real, guys, for real. We are definitely going to be doing all that kind of stuff. So we are going to be allowing for a lot of things here. So we are going to go ahead and say that we're going to build a steam transport in the city. We're also going to be trying to get more troops at the ready for this steam transport, because we want to take another city that is going to be right there. We're going to try to take this city. We're also going to try to take Rio Moy, and we're going to be doing a lot of groundwork setting up, because I have a feeling that once Britain wants to end the rite of passage with me, which would be very disappointing to have, because that means I'll be vulnerable to their attack, which kind of makes the point that I'm going to make. So we're going to be fighting the Spaniards. We're going to be trying to clean up the rest of the French. But we're also going to be gearing up to try and fight the British. Now, the British are going to be fighting... We're going to be fighting the British in skirmishes. So what that means is that we're going to be holding the line against British horde waves of units in their navy. We're not going to try and take cities. We're going to try and dismantle them. And if we can take cities along the way, it will likely be their colonies. So that's where that is. Ideally for the Germans, we want to try and take the British main islands. That is usually number one, because that cuts off their industry, it cuts off their big ships, and they will not be able to produce any big navies. So that will be our first skirmish. Now our second skirmish will probably be over here in Southeast Asia, where we want to pretty much try to dismantle the colonial empire, essentially. Now, Canada is ripe for the taking as well, but in regards to Canada, they will have probably a lot of units, and I'm hoping that my cities here in the United States will have enough units to defend against pretty much Canadian encroachment, and I want to take Seattle. That is a big thing of the reason why I want to really fight. So, we also have a lot of units here on the Mexican border, just to be there, so just in case of the British decides that they really want to throw their hat in a ring against me, they will have to go through it the hard way. They will have a hard time. A struggle, if you will. And that is what will make the difference. Alright, we're still trying to break through this French colony. I do not know how many units they still have in that city, so we're definitely going to keep building cavalry. I knew they were going to do that too. Who would have thought that's what they would do? They would rush a unit to prevent me from taking it, and also drafting. So they really want to keep Milan, which is fair, because they will have in Milan a wonder that prevents Milan from being destroyed, but also at the same time that it also builds Philippine scout units, I think. And the interesting about that is that it is a Milan wonder, not a Spanish wonder. So that means I could take it and I can start making Filipino scout units. So that is what makes it so much more better. Unless they change that between the 4.1 and the 5.0, because this is 5.0. So we're gonna go ahead and try to do more damage. I think I'm gonna need more artillery to try and take Paris. So that is a shame. Oh my god. Okay, sorry about that. I had to breathe a moment. Plus, somebody texted me. That's unprofessional of me. Okie dokie. We'll start bombardment, continuous bombardment of the island. And it doesn't look like they're housing much units there, so that's cool. Cool. That helps a lot, actually. Alright. Named unit, named unit. We want elite cavalry that have no names because that is what we are hunting for. Oh my goodness, they have completely blockaded this, haven't they? That's very upsetting. Alright, some Spanish troops are open and available. And we're gonna try and milk another core out of this, maybe get 2 cores. We'll see what we can do. What we can manage to make. Hopefully not lose hopefully not lose a unit, because I would be crying. Okay, I'm gonna cry. That was an elite unit, and now it's gone. Now it's gone. Very upset by this. Yep, 2 units, and then they're gonna draft units to try and stop me. That's pretty much how that goes. And we're gonna put a bunch of the artillery here and keep them in there for a very particular reason. Very, very good reason. So that reason is pretty much that if the British want to fight me, I can take West Africa. And I'll have the artillery to do it. So the Port of Milan has been taken, and I should be able to make a wonder in this place called the Philippine Constabulary. And I'll be able to produce one every 12 turns. And they are 7/7, so they're not too bad. They're not too bad. Nope. But it is a relic of a bygone version of the game that, honestly, I wish was still around. Okay, we're gonna try and do nothing here. Okay. Okay, do nothing here. Okay, we're gonna load him up into a core unit, and then we're gonna clean out and flush out the Spaniards in this region. Yep, we'll flush him out. Get them out of our territory. The Afrikaner divisions are pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie. So, they are pretty beefy. A lot more, they're just as beefy as my World War I unit. Oh no, not World War I, my original Infantry. We're going to clean out this trench line, and we're going to... Yeah, we'll clean out that trench line to secure the city so that I can start getting workers produced and... get everything sort of squared away. And that will be a big thing for me. An elite unit. I'm going to use the elite units to try and clean out some of these messes. They have a stronger ability also. So we're going to go ahead and take this elite unit, and we're going to go over here and take this guy out. Maybe, hopefully. Look at that. Pretty outrageous. Send him back into the city because he's next to dead, and I don't want any units dead. That is not my intention. My intention is to keep everything somewhat alive and build up. Okay, that was a pain. But I have a Flammenwaffen troop, so I'll be able to do some damage. Did this unit say it had Blitz on it? Yes, it did. It said it had Blitz, so I'm gonna use Blitz. He's really doing some work, and I think all it took was me not putting him into a fucking city. Against the city. He does pretty much good outside the cities. Djibouti is on fire, which means there is unrest. Which does kind of hurt their defense a little bit because they have to handle the unrest. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and do some damage. At least a little bit of damage and hope for the best. Well, I kind of hoped for the best. I did hope for the best, though. That's what matters, right? That's what mattered. And it looks like the Italians are gonna try their luck. Okay. Good luck. The French Empire is on its knees, and it doesn't have much left to go on, so... I will say that, you know, for a World War I mod, they really show the realism of trench warfare. I admit they do, making the European theater very fucking boring. Very fucking boring. So, there is that going for this mod. Gabagoo, gabagoo. Let's send these guys around here to scout out these islands. There should only be one unit in here, probably. Yep, one unit. We should be able to take all these other units. So, the Flame Trooper does not have good defense, but it does have good offense. I should have put a troop on top of him, honestly. Oh, cool, the Balkans now fight the Spanish. Okay, they got a fucking navy for it. That's for sure, they do have a navy for it. Okay. I'm hoping that we can set more things up to take. I know the Spaniards are going to be a bit of a problem. Because they're just going to keep rotating troops until I start going into their territory, in which they'll probably try to push me out. They don't really have the means to really take a city unless the city's absolutely destroyed. Like Marseille, that was just a freaking strike of opportunity. They were gonna take it because I bombarded it to hell and back. If they still had a ton of defenders in it, they wouldn't have even freaking considered it. So, what that means is that I want to take their cities while they're juggling all their units here, I guess. That's how I'm gonna have to play it. I can probably take Statender, Centiner, Centinator pretty easily. I should be able to. A lot of freaking bombardment, and I think the Italians just put a bunch more units there. They might actually they might actually succeed in taking Corsica, actually, thinking about it. The Italians have been saving up their units. So it's very much possible. I wouldn't complain. They do kind of deserve Corsica. Italians in this game cannot really grow at all, so it makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna use this espionage. We'll go with France, and then we're going to investigate a city. We'll investigate Paris, and we're going to see what kind of fuckery is in here. Okay, so it looks like they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16 troops. Okay, 16 divisions inside the city. Great. Okay, that makes things so much more easier to do. Okay. Okay, and that makes this so much more fun to do. So what this means is that we're now going to have to build even more freaking artillery. Yep, more artillery, more artillery. It's such a shame that Paris does not have is not a coastal city, because I would totally love it to be a coastal city right now. Like straight up, such a pain. We're gonna move these Kaiserliche Marine units into the city, and we're going to. Oh yeah, we're going to take full advantage. We're gonna destroy this cavalry unit too. You cannot make core units from barbarians. So you can't get armies from barbarians or leaders units from barbarians, so it's pretty pointless. But you can use them to farm elites, so they do have that advantage. So there is that advantage, so make it work. I'm gonna need, now that there's an opening, I want this steam transport, please. And not freeze up the game. I do not want it to freeze up the game. I don't need the game to freeze up. I don't need it to freeze up. Come on. Thank you. But I do want to talk to this steam transport to get him to make a landing. Alright, this guy's pretty much done. He's done. He's wounded. He's contractually obligated not to keep fighting. Alright, so we've taken that, and now we're going to have him chill the fuck out there. Have him chill. They don't have enough units to get anything done in Porta Princesa, so we'll do that. Okay, now we'll take this infantry and destroy that. Take this artillery, move it down. What I think I'm gonna do is have these Kaiserlich Marine units be in the city. Get that steam transport ready, and obviously keep an eye on this city of Corsica. I want to see if I can't undermine. I want to see if I can't undermine Corsica away from the Italians. Maybe I'll be able to get away with it. We'll see what we can do. We're gonna try and get an opportunistic strike and get it done. Get it done. Just get it done. There's so many units inside this city. And if I keep missing artillery shells, then it's gonna be a pain. I think the best way I'm gonna be able to take Paris is actually legitimately do a World War One strat where it's just bum rushing a city and take casualties, but in the hopes of winning. This gun emplacement though, I'm more worried about than anything else. Yeah. Okay, it looks like I've penetrated the defense. And now units are gonna start taking more damage. Okay, so that's a good sign. That's luck. But they'll heal up next turn anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But we can cycle this artillery. I'm gonna sail up to Guam. Looks like Caroline Islands and Palulu Island, Palau Island, whatever is. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Really wish this coastal trade node was actually a bridge. Just a freaking land bridge. Okay, we'll heal this guy up. And our navy has finally made it to Madagascar, and we're going to just start harassing Madagascar. We're going to try and take Fort Dauphin first. So we're going to do what we can here. And of course, there's going to be a lot of steam transports in these colony states because they don't have any. Well, they don't really have any point to sending troops back to the mainland because there is no harbor there anymore to turn their resources in. So they're just going to be producing raw resources without anywhere to go, so they're just piling up stuff. Which, bound to happen. Okay, we're just going to keep pummeling Fort Dauphin down. And it doesn't look like they have too many divisions there anyway. So that's a good sign. Very good sign. Okay, we almost destroyed that city defender. So what I'm going to try and do now is very unorthodox. Actually, it's extremely unorthodox. In fact, it's going to be one of the most stupidest things that I'm going to freaking do here. But I'm going to try. Gonna try. And that is just do a land war, land rush. It's gonna hurt dramatically my chances of taking this city, but we're gonna try and take a AI playbook. Try to take one of the AI's playbooks and just have every freaking unit that I have here just bum rush the city and see what kind of damage that we can do successfully or not successfully at all. So, yeah, this is pretty stupid. I do not recommend doing something like this. But when a city has a lot of damaged units and you pretty much don't have very many options left, this is a strategy that you can kind of employ, but not very much recommend to do. But if you are feeling very, very comfortable with the idea of losing a lot of units, then nobody can stop you, technically. Mm. If you have a lot of units that you think that can get the job done, to get the job done, can get the job done. Get the job done, get the job done, get the job done. That's pretty much all you're trying to do is get the job done. That is very unfair. Mind you, that is very unfair. I do not like that at all. One health block and it said no. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, dude. Fucking hell. And these guys don't have blitz. So that makes things so much more annoying and upsetting. Anyway. anyway. Anyway, enough with the ranting. Alright, there's a lot of units here. Not units, resources. And we'll go here, we'll take these resources. And then we'll move him down there. And then we'll just... Yeah, okay. It helps. It helps quite a bit. We're gonna destroy more of the city. And we're gonna bombard this city. Even though we don't really need to. But we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna take this up to Guam. Separating our navy is not ideal, but it is a strategy. Alright. Okay, we did quite a little bit on this turn. And now Abyssia is going to try to make an opportunistic strike, which didn't really do much. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good. Wanted that to happen. Alrighty, so the Spaniards are, again, strikes of opportunity. Which, you know, don't bother me much. And did I just see the Spaniards just evacuate those cities? It happened so quickly, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Which is fine by me. Very fine by me. And now the Spaniards are using what their navy is, which is absolutely nothing, to try and stop this from happening. Hispaniola. Interesting. I would laugh if Hispaniola took Cuba. I would cry. I would laugh. I would cry laugh. It would be like tears just streaking down my face. Like, I cannot believe that happened. Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. I would be impressed how a nation with wooden ships can do that. But, you know. You know, I have thought about it, doing a two-city nation or a one-city nation, and try to take as much of the world as possible. I think that would be a really fun series. I think it would be absolutely fun because people like seeing like small things become large things. In my opinion, I think so. So, you know, if you guys want to see on Civ 3, maybe play a nation like Romania, which is a one-city nation, or Siam, or, you know, Hispaniola or something like that, and try to grow bigger. Um, or even the Boers. I played the Boers a few times, and they're okay. They're okay. Not the greatest, but the Boers are pretty strong, especially when big colonial navy nations like, you know, Britain and France decide to go to war, and you can just kind of sit on the sideline and strike when you feel that you can take something. But that is something to ponder about. We still have a lot to do on our end, but we're making steady ground, I want to say. Steady ground, better than no ground. So, and it looks like they are definitely trying to evacuate a lot of their cities that have stuff in it that they can afford to lose. But I am destroying their units in the process, so it don't matter. It don't matter. I'm destroying their units. It's okay. Yep, it's okay, guys. It's okay. Resistance is over. It is time to play the game. Alright, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue this next time. So, until next time, friends, peace out.